Okay, this is part 2. My video got interrupted a moment ago. Okay, so we found out that she has a payment of $1,013.50, and I showed you on Excel how to put that in there. Part C says, what will the total cost of all of Camilla's payments be over the lifetime of the loan? Well, she's making 360 payments of $1,013.50. So if we want to know what all of her cost is, then we're going to multiply these two numbers. And we find out that her total cost over the lifetime of the loan is $364,860 for this house. That is the money that she's borrowing, the $178,500, and the fee that for borrowing the money all together. So D says, how much will Camilla pay in interest over the lifetime of the mortgage? Well, if we know that the house borrowing part is $178,500, to find the interest or the fee from that total, we're going to subtract. So it's going to be $364,860 minus the amount that she borrowed. And so we find out that's $186,360 is the fee or the interest that she was paying to borrow that money. Now, if Camilla had signed with the bank across the street and not gotten in such a hurry, they would have offered her a better interest rate of 4.25% on a 30-year mortgage. So what would her monthly payment be for this bank? And so that's kind of what I did on the Excel a minute ago, is I changed that interest rate. At the bottom of the page, they also have it already set up for you. That was the other option that we didn't choose. You see the 4.25% here for that amount. So her payment would be $878.11. So the next question asks, how much would she have saved over 30 years if she had signed with the lower rate? Well, if we need to know how much it would have cost her for 30 years, we're going to take her payment that she could have had and multiply that times 360 to see what 30 years would have cost her. There's a couple ways to go about this. That's the way I'm going to hit it on here for right now. And so if she had gotten the cheaper rate, she would have paid a total of $316,119.60. But instead, she's paying $364,860. And so to find out how much she could have saved, we're going to subtract those numbers. We're going to put $364,860 minus $316,119.60. So she would have saved $48,740.40. Crazy, huh? So now question 2 says the President of the United States makes $400,000 a year. While still in office, the family decided to purchase a home with an estimated property tax of $50,000 a year and home insurance that is $15,000 a year. So let's assume the President's family has no loans or debt, and they have saved $35,000 for a down payment. A, what is the monthly mortgage payment can the President's family afford? And it says use the total expense ratio as presented on the Explore page in this section. So let's look for that here a second. The amount, that's on page 144. That you can find that section in there. And it's 30%, excuse me, the 36% of your income. It says take your total expense ratio is 36% of your income. Find out how much that is first, and then subtract from that the taxes and the insurance that they're going to pay. And then also subtract any other, like car loans, student loans, etc. So this is how they kind of figure out how much they want to loan you at a bank kind of thing. Don't ever trust them. They're going to loan you way more money than what you can really afford in your budget normally. So if we want 36% of his income, it's going to be 400,000 times 0.36. So 144,000 is what they supposedly have available for housing. That's that 36% part. Now we need to subtract their expenses because they have 15,000 and they have 35,000 that they have to pay. So that's a total of 50,000 a year in taxes and insurance. So they really can't spend 144,000 on a house payment a year. They have to subtract the 50,000 from that they're going to be paying in taxes and insurance. Let's see, 144,000 minus 50,000. I put an extra zero in mine by accident. Had the wrong number. Okay, so they can afford $94,000 a year in a house payment. Oh my. And so if you want to find, and we want to find the monthly mortgage payment. So this is what they can spend in a year. So to find the monthly, you're going to divide that number by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. So their house payment that they can supposedly afford is $7,833.33. Can you imagine? All right. What mortgage amount can they afford to borrow? So if their payment is this much, then we want to know what's the value of the house that is. What mortgage amount can they afford? What can they borrow? Let's see. Oh no, I added something wrong back there. Let's scratch that. Oh, you probably all caught me when I was doing it too. I looked at the down payment as the property tax instead of the 50,000. Goodness gracious, messed y'all up, didn't I? Let's try that again. Back me up here. All right. So we do know that they have 144,000 available because that's 36% of their income, but their monthly expenses are actually $65,000 because 50,000 and the 15,000 together. So, goodness, sorry about that, guys. Okay, sorry about that. They can afford 79,000 a year. So we're going to divide that number by 12. And so they can afford $6,583.33 for a mortgage payment. So we want to know how much of a house they can buy for that. It says, what mortgage amount can they afford to borrow? Now, assume a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with a rate of 3.25%. Notice down here on Excel, the equations we had to choose from earlier for the other problem now have some information down here. And we don't want payment because we already know they can afford this payment. We want what's the present value of the house that they can buy. And with that payment at the 3.25%. So here is the Excel formula for that. And it turns out they can afford a house that is $1,512,691.73. And we could have put that into our own Excel and figured that same number out. But now this isn't the number, though, that they can afford because, remember, they had a down payment also. This is just the amount they're going to borrow. But they had a down payment of $35,000, so we can actually add $35,000 to this. So it's really $1,547,691.73. So it says, what is the maximum housing price they should consider? Well, we just figured that out. Well, they're going to borrow this first amount, and then the maximum housing price is the amount with the down payment added on.